All right, how's everyone doing? It's another episode of 10 Questions with the Detailed Image. I'm here with one of my best friends, Chris. It is a very special day. We get to talk about his new purchase. Want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Chris.
He's Chris.
New purchase. I'm that guy.
Yeah, so we thought we would do a video because it's really cool that we're friends, but he likes Mustangs and I'm a Corvette guy now. So we thought we would talk a little bit about it. And in all honesty, I'm super excited about this video because we kind of worked together to get this car for him, and it's been a long time coming, but I definitely want him to tell his story and everything that he's kind of gone through as kind of a young kid when he first laid his eyes on a Mustang and wanted one really bad and waited all this time. So I will turn it over to Chris and first ask to tell everyone a little bit about what car you currently own.
I am the proud owner of a 2020 Mustang GT350. It is the Heritage Package. So it's the tribute to Carroll Shelby's 1965 GT350, the original. So
that's awesome. And so when you say Heritage Package, I know there's a lot of different packages, so can you clarify a little bit what that means? What's it come with?
Heritage Package is a special paint and badge package that has the Wimbledon white and Guardsman blue colors. So Wimbledon white for the body, and the stripes are Guardsman blue, and those are the same colors that were used back in 1965. And Ford never used them after 1965. So they stored them away and waited for 2020 to come in and used it then. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
What a great story. That's awesome. So another cool thing is today is actually the first time I ever saw the car. And I told him, hey man, we need to get this car PPF. And we brought the cars up to this location to shoot. And we actually found out it has PPF on it already. So we just saved several thousands of dollars, which is fantastic. So another score today with the win. GT350. All right. So we'll start with the 10 questions.
Okay.
Okay. So again, 10 questions with the detailed image. And the first one is, how long have you had it?
I have had this for 2 weeks.
Okay. And 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Does everyone remember that first 2 weeks? I'm like a nervous wreck the first 2 weeks. So, so tell me a little bit about the story about how you found it, and then what happened after that.
So I have been looking for a GT350 for, I don't know, the better part of four or 5 years, and found this package and knew that I wanted the right car. And when this one showed up, I searched for hours on end on my phone, on the computer, to find GT350s. This one showed up in Maryland, and I called you again for the 300th time and said, okay, I think I want to try this one. And so we gave it a shot. And it worked out. You know, here it is.
Yeah. So, yes, to be honest, I'm not a huge Mustang fan. I guess, and the only reason I say that is because I've owned one, but it was an '86, and that's a video for another day. That's a totally different. So, totally different thing. Which car was amazing, by the way. But again, a video for another day.
Yeah.
And Chris kept sending these to me and sending these to me. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And we went after a couple, and literally they sold. By the time I got the salesman on the phone and exchanged a few emails, they sold. So we kind of made up our mind that we were either going to get one before Christmas or we were just going to wait.
Just wait.
So it was coming down to the wire, and we finally just said, I kind of told them, let's wait. The car market's kind of funny now. We don't know what's going to happen. And car prices did start going down, but really they were holding pretty firm on this car. And so I said, let's wait. And then I was in Wimberley, Texas, and met a guy who had one, and I finally saw one in person, and I called Chris and said, never mind what I said, let's go get one. So we found this one in Maryland. I sent an email. We negotiated the price, the delivery,
Yeah.
everything, and here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Great story. Okay, have you ever owned a Mustang prior to this one?
I have. My very first car was a 1967 Mustang, and it was the color scheme on it was ivy gold, which, to be honest, was green, and it was terrible. The terrible color. Yeah, even the dash was green. It's green carpet,
Yes.
green seats, green dash. I was 18, senior in high school, and I saved up $150 from my part-time job, making $3.50 an hour, minimum wage. Back in
Not
the
showing your
day.
age,
Yeah, I
right?
know, right? But I saved up $150. I went to Mako, and I got their $99 special and $50 add-on to paint my car just like this.
Wow.
I painted it white with blue stripes.
That's a cool story.
Yeah. I've got, I only have a few pictures of that car, and I wish I had more, but I've got one where I was in the driveway. I have the door open, kind of arm on the window and on the top of the car. And I'm going to recreate that picture
Okay,
with this
that's
one.
good.
So
you have to send me the photo if
I will,
you find it.
I will,
That'll be
yeah.
awesome. So why the GT350? Was it purposely thought out? Was it because of the Heritage Edition? Like, why did you go for the GT350?
Because that was the first car I really fell in love with was Carroll Shelby's GT350, and I went deep into learning about Carroll Shelby, his background, his history. Lots of years spent just watching his life, and this is honestly a remarkable tribute to Carroll Shelby, the innovator, the designer, the race car driver.
Right.
So,
What's funny is I think a lot of people know the name based off the Mustang, but until honestly that movie, Ferrari versus Ford came
Yep.
out, I don't think they really understood, and I think it gave a better insight.
Yeah.
I think onto that. So, is this car a daily driver?
it is not. It is not a daily driver.
Yeah.
I drove it today, but I've driven it 2 or 3 times, just in the last 2 weeks. But no, it's not my daily driver.
No. And how long have we known each other?
Ooh, wow.
Probably
12 years.
Okay.
10, 12 years.
Okay, so since we've known each other, you've always talked about getting a Mustang.
Oh, always,
So
yeah.
this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
So this has been a long time coming.
Yeah.
And on that same vein, is this the most expensive car that you've ever owned? We're going to edit this part out for his wife.
Yes, yes, it is. By far, it is
Yeah.
the most expensive car.
Okay. And so far getting settled in, any nerves?
Sure. I mean, because this is not only did it cost a lot in my book, it cost a lot, but to me it's perfect, and I don't want to mess it up.
Right.
So I'm very cautious.
Right. I swear, literally the first month of ownership, it's a lot. It's a lot.
is.
I mean, anybody who says it's not, and I talked about this like in my intro video.
Yeah.
These cars are amazing to drive, fun, but it's not all fun and games. Like if I had the road all to myself, I'd be fine.
100%.
I'm more worried about the people around me just not paying attention than I am myself.
Yeah.
So it is, I don't know. I mean, it's once the anxiety settles a little bit, it's nice. But man, that first month of ownership is it's tough. So automatic, manual.
Manual.
Okay.
Yeah, 6-speed.
Do they come in automatic?
No.
They don't.
GT350, 6-speed only.
6-speed only.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah. Red line, 8250.
Yeah, you're definitely a better man than I am. I cannot handle manuals anymore. I had that GT4 Porsche, and I swear that car wore me out.
Yeah.
I just cannot do manuals anymore. But
Well, it's not a daily.
Yeah.
Like if it was a daily,
yeah,
I'd probably be a different
my
story.
GT was a daily, and there's just no way.
Yeah.
There's just no way. Okay. So I did a little post for you
Yeah.
commemorating the car. they were all photos, but what was your first impression when that truck backed up and the door opened?
Man, honestly, I got a lump in my throat because I was 16 when I really discovered Ford, the Mustangs, the Chevys, and the traditions that come along with that. So to see it come to fruition was just, it was almost an overwhelming feeling, but in a good way.
Right. And again, we didn't get too much into it, but the buying process, what we had to go through, they sent a guy to come actually see Chris to verify that he was a real person. It's a little disturbing to me that they have to do all that. But again, in this day of AI, I guess you have to do that. But it took 2 weeks from the time we actually bought the car to the time we got it delivered. It was 2 weeks. And I know people are asking, why does he keep saying we? I felt like I was part of this too together, and I'm calling him like, what's going on? What'd the bank say? Like, where are we at? Like, what? I mean, so it was definitely, we were in it together, figuring out how to navigate through the 2 weeks. But he's a better man than I am, because I would have got on a plane and flew out there and drove it back.
It definitely crossed my mind, but it's only got 3,000 miles on it.
Yes.
And I think it was 1,300 miles, and to drive it back, and I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, no, I agree. and the manual would have taken my life away. But okay, so first impression's amazing.
Yep.
Is there anything that you would change about it?
No. I mean, visibility is great. The sound is great. It's comfortable. I mean, it's got the Recaro racing seats, and while those are not really meant for cross-country travel, they're very comfortable. I
have to honestly say, I sat in them today, and versus my Corvette seats, they're wider and a little bit more cushiony and more comfortable. And anytime you can have Alcantara in a car, you can't beat it. Alcantara is just, I love Alcantara. So, okay, for some reason, this is always an interesting topic to people. Like, I've seen videos where guys have just taken their car to the gas station to fill it up.
Yeah.
And why that's interesting, I guess it is interesting. But we did find out some interesting facts today. So you took your car to put gas in it today, and how much did it cost?
Yeah, it was about $50.
$50.
Yeah,
okay, premium, obviously. $50. And then how many miles? This is the interesting part today. How many miles to the gallon are you getting?
I'm getting about 15. And last weekend when I drove it out on the highway, I drove up to New Waverly and came back, and I was getting about 21. Which is insane.
Insane. So I have a 2024 Z06, and I get 8 miles to the gallon. It is. I do drive in Z mode. I don't care. That's just the way you have to drive it. Anything else, like, I will put it in touring mode if I go to Austin or somewhere like long distance, I'll put it in touring mode. But anywhere else, I'm driving in Z mode. And Z mode, for those of you who don't know, basically you customize all the exhaust, the steering, the shocks, everything to just make it feel as good as you want it to feel. It sounds amazing in that mode. So it's basically like a save favorites mode.
Yeah.
So you just press a button and it basically saves all your favorites, and that's what Z mode is.
That may be one thing I would change.
Okay.
On here.
Yeah.
Is I have to reset it every time.
Okay.
So,
which in a lot of other cars, I remember the Porsches I had, I would get in, I adjust the exhaust, put everything, turn it to sport mode, everything. This, you just press one button, and all your desired way you want it set up is already saved. So I do love that about this car.
Yeah.
It makes it easy. So okay. So we do have one thing.
We found one thing.
Good. Again, we're going to edit this next part out for his wife, but what's the fastest you've driven it so far?
I told her it's okay. We don't have to edit it. 101.
101?
Yeah, and that was just because there was so much traffic.
Yeah.
And this was, again, I was just going to get on 45. I was going to come up here past the Woodlands, turn around and come back, and it was just packed.
Yeah.
And but I will say, I was in fifth gear, and probably about 80 miles an hour. And at around 4,000 RPM, and that's the power band for this car. I mean, it's a race car, and so I pressed on the gas, you know, to accelerate, just kind of get up. I wanted to see how fast could I get there. Well, and I got from 80 to 101 much faster than I expected.
Yeah.
And
we were talking about that this morning, and it's amazing. These cars, they don't really like to go slow.
No.
And you really understand how powerful they are once you start driving them a lot faster. Yeah, I think it's again, today was the first time I put eyes on it in the cars. It just looks and sounds amazing driving over here.
Thanks.
Any modifications in the future?
No,
Nothing?
I'm an OG guy.
Okay.
The way, you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, Carroll Shelby, you know, he passed away before this car was built, but as a tribute to him, I don't have any changes.
Okay, which is good. This car, I've left stock, except for wheel spacers. For some reason, Chevy does not want to put the wheels where they should go on the back of the car. So you have to I put Paragon 15 millimeter wheel spacers on the back. I just think it makes the stance look better. But when I was looking at your wheels today, the stance is perfect. So I wouldn't do anything.
Yeah. It's a Ford, so we don't need to make changes.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
I feel like that's going to get edited out.
Do you like the way my exhaust looks when you're driving behind me?
When I let you go?
I'm trying to be nice about it, but come on. All right. Overall impressions of the car and what it means to you to be a car enthusiast. And I talk about this a lot because a lot of people who don't understand the passion for cars view cars as a mode to get from point A to point B. And I do understand that. But if you're a car person and you love cars, it takes on a different meaning. We were at a car show this morning and it's packed, and it's so great to see people out looking at cars, looking at these cars, seeing what they're about. And you don't realize how many people do love and admire these cars.